All right, so the next Sichah we're going to learn is a Sichah, and as we said, this is part of the project of Likkutei Sichos. Every week we learn 2 Sichos. It's a beautiful project that picked up a few years ago. Baruch Hashem, I had the schools to start it, to I should say co-start it, and then to really push it to levels that no one ever dreamed of really getting the Rebbe's Torah out there. So the idea of this project is that every 2 weeks, every week we take 2 sichos and we learn it together. And after 8 years, with this cycle, we finish actually all the Likkutei Sichos. Okay, so there's 2 sichos this week. One we learned is Chelik Chaf, and then Bereishis Hey. Okay, so this Sichah is printed in Chelik Tesvov. It's Bereishis is the 5th Sichah. And it's really, really a fascinating Sichah. How the Rebbe is changing really perspective of how one should look at a person, should look at Chlal through verbalizing Lashon Hara and then thinking about Lashon Hara. And okay, we'll see how the Rebbe, it's at the end of the Sichah, but we'll see how the Rebbe touches up the idea of Nichamti. Okay, so let's start. In Siyum von der Heintige Sedra, stellt sich Rashi auf ki Nichamti ki asisim. Now, in regards to this week's parsha, which at the end of the parsha, the Torah says that the Eibusher says ki Nichamti, which means that, right, it says because Nichamti, I have made them. Now, what does it mean ki Nichamti ki asisim? What does it mean? Literally means that because Nichamti, and we have to see what Nichamti means, ki asisim, because I made them. Now Rashi says on this Mefarish, what does Rashi say? Hoshafti malasis al asher asisim. I consider what to do for making the Eden. That's what literally means. Ki Nichamti, I because Nichamti I made them. Rashi says, what does that mean? I consider what to do for having made them. Now, so let's see now. So Nechamti over here literally means that, as the way in the beginning, that I consider what to do with the Yidden. Now, so that explains like this. Und dann nicht verstandig. Aleph, der Wort Nechamti hat in Pashtus den Bandait von Chanata. Nechamti simply means, I regret. Well, the Chayrik darf sein, the Pirisha Pasha for Nichamti ki asisim. That L'chayr should have been the simple explanation, I regret for making them. Ich hab Charata gehat auf dem, was ich hab sie gemacht. That I regretted that I created mankind. There's no Yidden. I created mankind. Azevi Taish the Targum. And this is like how the Targum translates. Nidblo is the Targum Yenisan, not only the Targum Yenisan, was ein Pirish is l'f'amad derech hadrash, because many times the Targum Yenisan is based on, it's aligned with Drash. Nor if their Targum Onkelos, but this is also the way the Targum Onkelos says, because sein Pirish is derech as al pshat. The Targum Onkelos, his commentary is very aligned to pshat. He explains also the pasuk that what does Nichamti mean? I regret it. I regret for making mankind. This was Rashi, was Mefarish Tradition Mipra. So how is it that Rashi who explains, and if you're looking at the Ischitas, Rashi said like 3-4 times, that easier to explain the simple pshat. So how could it be? How could it be that he interprets a different pshat? How does Rashi touch it up? I considered what to do for making them. Rashi doesn't say Nichamti means I regret for making mankind. I considered what to do for having made them. So why doesn't Rashi just say Nichamti means I regret it? Nochamer, moreover, a pasuk for your gid Rashi Arei Saklal. If you look at the previous pasuk beforehand, Rashi says a general rule. Rashi says, Kol loshen nichum shebemikra. Whenever it says Rashi says all instances of the word nicham or nichum, it connotes what? Loshen nimlach malasis. It connotes reconsidering what to do. Kulam loshen machshava achersin. So Rashi says clearly that all times that it says nichum, it means reconsidering what to do. Which means, as the Lashon Nichum was Tanaf meint, Alamol am Machshava was is anders haben die Charoto von Friede de Machshava. Which means that all mean have a different that what does it mean? That they have a different thought. In other words, throughout the Tanakh, Nichum always means different than the earlier one. In other words, that the Eibishter regrets an earlier thought. So now the question is if you're saying that Kol Nichum is lashon of like regretting, I changed my mind, or I have a different thought from previous. So the Chelev Rabbas touch Rashi anders. So why does Rashi touch Nichamti over here? That's very different. Why does Rashi translate different if usually Nichamti means regret? So that's question number. So question number one is, why doesn't Rashi say Nichamti means regret? Question number two is, Rashi said that whenever it says Nichum, it means a regret. So why does Rashi touch Nichamti over here differently that I consider? And then I was going to say, we have two questions. Disturbing it. Okay, now we have a third question. That's in base. Okay, base. That and when you can't sagen, as Rashi verteilt nicht Nichamti als Lashon Charata. Der Fall, weil afila Kind versteht as by dem Ebersten is nicht shaykh soll haben Charata. Now, perhaps you can answer that Rashi doesn't want to say Nichamti means you regretted. Why? Because even a child understands that Hashem never regrets. Pasuk says, Pasuk says in Balak, La'ish, Kael, Yichaziv, Ven Adam, Yisnachim. Pasuk says that Hashem is not man, that he should be deceitful, nor a son of man, that he should regret. So Hashem doesn't regret. Therefore, Muzar learning da Nichamti. So therefore, Rashi is forced to learn here that Nichamti means Hashafti, I considered what to do.
What about everywhere else? Is that talking about the Eibishter when he says Chadata?
No. Other than Nichum is the expression of in general what Nichum means. Right, so that's the so the Rebbe says, you can say it, but Hashem doesn't regret. So you can't say Nichamti means regret. But it's still not understood. Why not? Why is it unclear? Der Monter Friedige Pasuk red doch wegen dem Eibishtes Vayinachem Hashem. When deswegen sagt dort Rashi as Vayinachem in Hebcha Machshava Shemakim. He says that if you look in the previous pasuk, also speaks about Hashem Vayinachem Hashem, and nevertheless Rashi uses the word Vayinachem to mean that Hashem's thought was reversed. So you can't say that. Nochmer, furthermore, zwischen die Rayis was Rashi bringt dorten dazu. And amongst the rayas that Rashi brings, there Rashi says is Eich Farad der Pasuk Yishkel v'Yichazev Ven Adam Yisnachim. So Rashi also brings those psukim over there. On Doch Taich Rashi Lashon Charata, and there Rashi also translates the word Charata. That ben Doch derfun as Meisa Tam Shia Art Rashi Adi Kasha Yishayah the Inyan from Charata by the Memshel. So we see clearly that Rashi doesn't doesn't bother him that you could say that idea that Hashem regrets. Or we may find in the andere psukim welche Rashi bringt dort, weil avada v'yisnacham v'yinacham Hashem l'ara nichamti kim lachti. Says over there that Rashi that he says about Shaul HaMelech that he regretted for making Shaul the king. Sagam as nzei alle ret sich wegen dem Ebersten. So it all speaks about all these psukim refer to Hashem. But that's vegan, kulam, lashon machshava acheres. All these expressions imply having a different thought. So why, in this pasuk, doesn't Rashi say that nechamti means that I'm having a different thought, I regret? Okay, how is, so that's... Right, that's a... So basically we see that Nechamti, that according to Rashi, there's no problem to say Nechamti means regret, even by the Eibishter. And Gimel, the Rebbe says, like Pirish Rashi, as Nechamti means Chashavti Malalases, according to Rashi's explanation, that Nichamti means I consider what to do, is Nitglatik the Hemshech. So how do you explain the continuation of the pasuk? What does Rashi say? Nichamti, I consider what to do, ki asisem, for having made them. So the Rebbe says also, it's not Nitglatik. Was darf der Pirush, was darf Leut dem Pirush geteilt werden, wenn es in das Tam with Nichamti, chob getrach was sutan. What are you saying? You're saying that according to this explanation, it's all the words that you've understood. Nichamti, I consider what to do if I haven't made them. Val vibal asisem chob ze gemacht. Beis bepashtus is der Tam v'sibi von chashavti ma'alasis. Bashtanen in them was Rabba Ros Adam. Al ze haben gesindig. Klart the Ebershter Kiviyachol was sutan mit ze. Was is asisem atam of Nichamti. So the Rebbe says that according to the Rashi's explanation, Nichamti, I consider what to do for them. So how do you touch up the continuation of the pasuk? I consider what to do to them for having made them. Now, according to this explanation, these words are to be understood as a reason for Nichamti. I consider what to do for having made them. But seemingly, the simple reason why I consider what to do is because the wickedness of man was great, because the people then were very wicked. In other words, because the people were sinning, Hashem considered what to do with them. So how is for having made them a reason for Nichamti? I'm considering what to do for them because they're very evil. I'm considering what to do to them because they're very evil. Because I made them. The whole Hemshech doesn't make sense. All right, so tomorrow Mitzvah Hashem will. Today is what, Thursday? Okay, so tomorrow it's a short Sichah. Tomorrow we'll start on time and we'll finish Gimel to the end.